for BlackFestMagazine.com on DC Libraries. We're interviewing Rhymefest today. We are going to be just getting straight to it because he's very busy and has a very tight schedule. So, Rhymefest, thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
Hello?
Yes, thanks for taking the time to talk to me.
Yeah, hey, how you doing, DC?
Good. It's always good to talk to you. So what are you up to right now?
It's always good to be here. You know, right now I'm in the studio with Mark Ronson, and we're working on the Michael Jackson tribute mixtape entitled Man in the Mirror. I don't know if I want to call it a mixtape. It's like a Michael Jackson dedication album, and it's called Man in the Mirror, and it's going to be a prelude to my J Records album, which is entitled LCH.
So LCH is the follow-up to that Slammin' Blue Collar album, right?
Yes, it is.
So will they be similar in style, or are they going to be very different?
No, they're very, very different. You know, Blue Collar was kind of like a prelude in the way of, you know, this is what people are going through, the working man, the average guy. LCH is when that guy gets fed up. When he gets fed up of that job every day, when he gets fed up of this, like just the cynicism of society, when he's ready to really change his community and change music and change the world around him. LCH is revolution. And so, you know, I guess it's the same in the fact that revolutionaries are always made up of blue-collar people, you know what I mean? But this is definitely a transition, and it's a more cohesive album than Blue Collar. It's a more focused album, and it's a lot of fire in this.
What do you mean when you say fire?
When I say fire, you know, there's things in there. I mean, I'm writing raps like, you know, they sold MySpace for $500 million, sold YouTube for $1.6 billion. You in the project fighting over a building? You a bitch, nigga. I'm going to say it again. You a bitch. There's something in this bitch got to give. I hope fake brothers die so real niggas can live. You know, like fire. You know, things that sometimes people say, if you want to sell a record, don't say that. I'm saying that.
Wow. One of the things that people have always said about you is that you definitely defy the status quo. So let's back up a little bit for some people who may not be following what you're doing or have been under a rock and haven't been able to follow the Rhymefest movement. So you won a Grammy for co-writing the song Jesus Walks with Kanye West, but then you also went on to do Blue Collar, which was a crowd-pleasing CD, but maybe not necessarily the kind of CD that got the crossover. Why do you think it didn't get that commercial buzz that we all wanted it to have?
Blue Collar was definitely critically acclaimed. I mean, every review was glowing. You know, it was very, it was a highly anticipated album. I think when you talk about, you know, why didn't it cross over, there's a lot of different factors involved in that. You know, one factor is, did everyone who was presenting it believe in that? You know what I mean? Did they? Well, some people are scared of that. Some people, and when I say believe in that, what is that? You know, does substance sell? Do we really believe that? You know, now certainly statistics can point to the fact that a lot of what we would call ringtone rappers may not sell many records, while people of substance, via Kanye, Common, Talib Kweli debuted at number 2, Common debuted at number 1, Kanye debuted at number 1, like beating out all of the so-called ringtone rappers. But, you know, we look at radio play. So Common may not get as much radio play as, let's say, you know, Hurricane Chris. You know, so we say, well, you know, if major radio is our indicator of who the audience wants, then obviously we have to put our weight behind that. But I think labels are learning that that is not the case. Major radio is not always the indicator of what the people want. So I think that in the case of Rhymefest, you know, at that time, did everyone believe that, okay, well, maybe he's not getting all the major radio we like? Okay, do we abandon it? Okay, let's not just put all of our eggs into this basket. Let's not put any eggs into this basket. But what Rhymefest did was, I toured with Tribe Called Quest, I toured with Wu-Tang Clan. I built a fan base around me, around my movement, around touring, off word of mouth. I sold like 110,000 records. So to do that off word of mouth with no promotion, with no BET video play, with hardly any radio, I think is a telling feat. And I know that that's going to do nothing but grow as the music gets better and as the stakes are higher.
Well, there are some people who view you as a co-op, and they say, don't tell people about him because then other people will discover him and then he'll get watered down and then we won't have this, this guy who's speaking the truth to the people. There are some people who are extremely protective of you.
I think what you have to do, though, in those cases is ask yourself, because Bob Marley was shared to the world, did it water him down? Because Stevie Wonder was something that the world could enjoy, did it water him down? What about Michael Jackson? What about Marvin Gaye? In fact, sometimes some artists become better the more they can share their gift, the more people understand their gift and groove with them. It's power in numbers, and that creates power in music and power in politics, and that's what I'm about.
Well, I tell you, I was telling somebody the other day that didn't know who you were. I was like, if you like men that are like mentally deep and like spiritually grounded, Rhymefest is sexier than LL Cool J because you definitely have this cerebral thing that comes with you. And I've had the pleasure of watching you in a couple of your concerts in Baltimore at the Ram's Head and in D.C. at Love's and, different places. And I've watched, people respond to you, and I noticed the multiculturalness of your crowd, white, black, everybody, but just everybody on their feet, hands up,
the thing about that is this, when I perform, it's therapy for me. I go out there and I can cry, and I can let it loose, and I can be angry, and I can be happy, and I can experience all my emotions, and I can admit my faults. I can admit my struggles, and I can be proud of my triumphs. Like, it's therapy, and my audience is my counselor.
Okay.
And I learn from them, and I try to give them something to take home with them.
Well, I can't let you not talk about Michael Jackson because, when you talk about a rapper doing Michael Jackson, that almost makes people pause. So what made you decide that you wanted to do a tribute to Michael Jackson?
Well, the thing is, and I say to people, I'm doing a Michael Jackson dedication CD or what have you, and then they kind of be looking at me because all you thinking about is like Thriller or like Beat It, you know what I mean? But like people don't realize like how many hits this dude has and how deep and dope Michael Jackson really is, and sometimes you don't appreciate truly someone's gift until they're not there anymore. And so what I want to do is give reverence to those who I love and who are my inspiration musically before they're not there anymore, And it's just going to be dope. Like Mike had dope beats like that. And I got like different producers from Mark Ronson to Ninth Wonder and like many others remixing like old Mike tracks and the hip-hop tracks. And then I'm rhyming over and Mark Ronson, this DJ Mark Ronson is putting the CD together for me. I got different rappers coming through rapping over the mic stuff. I mean, it is going to be nuts. The name of it is Man in the Mirror.
And will we be able to find that on your Rhymefest.com site, which links to your MySpace page?
Yeah, well, you'll be able to find it on MySpace.com/Rhymefest, but it's not going to be out until mid-December. It's dropping. I want to have it ready for Christmas. And, you can go straight there and download it.
Wow.